We need to fix that. Welcome back to another exciting episode. Now, the reason for that check engine light is, well, it's under the hood, as it usually is. Actually, it's fuel injectors. I've done a couple shorts on it, and what I found out is cylinder number 8 is getting spark, but it's not getting fuel because it's running like 200 degrees cooler than every other cylinder. So what that means is fuel injector number 8, that guy back there, is not firing. It's getting the signal to fire, but either not enough fuel or zero fuel is getting through that, which is pretty common when these sit for a long time, especially on these old Bosch injectors. So what we're going to do today is we are going to remove this upper intake plenum, and we're going to replace all the injectors. Now, we are in the era of every fastener is a different size, so this is just going to be a good time all the way around, I think. This is the other problem with vehicles that sit for a long time. All the rubber stuff sticks to all the metal stuff. That's great. That's what you like to see, is your aluminum turning to powder. It'll be fine, probably. So to get this upper plenum off, there are 6 bolts that actually hold it on to the lower intake manifold. But then we've got to get this EGR off, which you can break it loose from the airline and leave the EGR on, or you can unbolt the EGR and just pull it off of that plenum, which is probably what we're going to do. The throttle bodies are going to be a pain. No matter what, we either have to replace that gasket or we're going to lose coolant. I think I favor losing a little bit of coolant and leaving that bolted together, but we'll see what actually happens. After that, there's a bracket back here that you have to take off, and after that, lots of hose things. We've got 5 out of 6 of these plenum bolts off. The 6th one is a little bit tricky. It is down in this slot right here. And if you can see that, I believe it's an Allen head, not a regular bolt. It's either Allen or Torx. So that's your last one. Then this thing will come off. It ended up being Torx, probably around a T27, T30, which I didn't have long enough to reach. But what I did have, oh, gotta be quicker than that. I did have like a security Torx bit and a DeWalt sort of drill driver magnetic tip and a 1/4 inch ratchet and socket. And that got us long enough to get down to that bolt, which is good because I didn't feel like being angry and upset and buying more tools. Not that buying more tools makes me upset. I meant having to go out and buy stuff in the middle of a job, which I hate. I would much rather be able to finish the job without having to go to the store. There we go. Oh, we got it. Good thing this is aluminum, not cast iron. Oh, if this was cast iron, that would be such a pain. Woo! It's just that easy. It's not. It's kind of a pain. On the upside, I can tell you we did not have any intake leaks, but I did get a new gasket, so we'll just be replacing it with the new one. Now we can get to our injectors. There are our injectors, that's the fuel rail, and there's all the snacks left by all the animals over the years. Yeah. Alright, well, cleaning time. And there we go. That's an acceptable level of clean. We got all the food, debris, leaves, everything else out of there. Now there's 4 bolts that hold that fuel rail on, and we should be able to pull it up and put some new injectors in. Yep, 5/16. That's good. Ford's not quite on the metric system in 96. I don't like playing the guessing game of is it metric, is it standard. If it's going to be standard, do the whole thing standard. If it's going to be metric, do the whole thing metric. Really doesn't matter either way. I just don't like one thing being 15 mil and the next thing's 1/2 inch. And it makes no sense. Can't really get a good grip on this last one. Good thing it's only finger tight. Whoever put it on the assembly line had the same thought. Like, I'm not tightening that. 3 out of 4 is good. I appreciate that. Whoever you are that assembled this, I thank you. 4. All right, half the rail's up. We're good. All right, all of that rail is off of all of that injectors. Now I have to get all of that injectors out of all of that intake. Be careful popping injectors. Sometimes they don't want to come out. All right, we managed to get all 8 injectors out. Not exactly easy. You sort of have to wiggle and pull and twist and hold your mouth a certain way, and sometimes mangle to get these things out. But one important thing to know about the injectors is they sit in just like this. There's a plastic cap that goes down in the intake. You need to make sure you get that. There's an O-ring that seals that, and at the top where the rail goes, there's an O-ring. So some of them may come out like this. That means the O-ring is still up in the rail. You can just use a pick, reach up and peel that out of the rail. It's not a big deal. And then down in the intake, your O-ring and that cap could still be stuck. Same thing. Just look down the hole and pop them out with a pick. It's really not that hard, but sometimes they do want to stick around for a while. And it's at this exact moment that this entire episode fell apart. You see, I went online and I went to eBay and I bought Bosch injectors, or what I thought were Bosch injectors. Here's the box. And here's the injector. Now, when you compare that to the factory injector, they look really similar. Same height, same O-ring, same everything. But see how the terminals are in this one? See how big they are? Look how small the terminals are in this one. This one also weighs about half as much, and that's because this injector body is plastic. Bosch did not make plastic body injectors. That's what I found out later. So these are garbage. And I was stuck with injectors that didn't work. So I went online and I went to South Bay Injectors out of New York. They had exactly what I wanted. They had it at a very reasonable price, and they got it here within a couple days. Sorry for getting your case dirty. That's just a little bit of free-all. It should be okay. And I felt really good about it, just seeing how they were packaged. You get stickers and magnets. This is somebody who's not making crap. This is somebody who's definitely going to make things that work for your vehicle. These are remanufactured Bosch injectors instead of knockoff Bosch injectors. It's time to put these in and get the F-150 back on the road. Now, the really fun part is I didn't want to take this upper plenum off again. So, thanks to my incredibly small rat claws, I was able to get all 8 injectors out without pulling the upper plenum. And even better, I was able to get all 8 injectors back in with only minor injuries without taking the upper plenum off. So, everything is back on. Everything is plugged in. Moment of truth. Let's start this thing up. And hopefully, we're running on 8 cylinders. Well, we're running on 8. It's nice and smooth, no missing, and more importantly, it's going to take a while to clear up, but we're not getting raw fuel out the exhaust anymore. So there we go. That is how you put fuel injectors into a Ford 5.0 or 5.8 fuel injector. Again, cannot recommend South Bay fuel injectors enough. Fantastic product. It immediately fired up. It's not missing anymore. We're good to go. And also, I cannot stress enough, avoid eBay Bosch fuel injectors. It's going to seem like a great price, but it's going to be you paying the price for having to do the job a second time and buy a whole other set of injectors. So, be careful out there on the eBay. Go find reputable dealers like South Bay Fuel Injectors and get your Ford back on the road. Man, look at that exhaust. That was a lot of fuel. All right, well, we'll see you next time.